Good morning. Welcome to Banter with Richie B Live.
Somewhere beyond the beaten path, beyond the whispers in the woods and the stories around the fire, lurks one of the greatest mysteries of our time, Bigfoot. For decades, legends have echoed through the forests, footprints left behind, sightings that defy logic, and questions that demand answers. But this isn't just folklore. This is a call to investigate, to explore, and to uncover the truth. Banter with Richie B isn't just another show. It's a community, a movement, a hub for genuine research, real conversations, and boots-on-the-ground discovery. Every episode dives deep into evidence, expert interviews, field investigations, and the drive to seek what others say is impossible. If you believe in asking questions, if you're ready to get your boots dirty, and if you think the unknown deserves more than just a passing glance, then follow Banter with Richie B. Stay informed, stay sharp, and maybe, just maybe, be the one who finds the truth hiding in the trees.
I love you, baby Jack. I want you guys to keep climbing. I love you, Mama. Bojo's gonna get us out of here because that's what he does.
That's right. Nice meeting you all. Thank you for being on air. And yes, we are home of the phone. Let's go.
Whoa, hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? It is a little early. Yeah, my show is not going to be airing tonight. I will not be going live at 6. If you follow Facebook, I've made the announcement. But maybe you don't. I don't know if you do have. I don't really see you on Facebook. Every once in a while, you message me on Messenger. But yes, I put up a late post saying that tonight's show is postponed. I had Call Monte Critter Festival last week, as you know, an amazing time, life-altering, just unbelievably planned, just executed perfectly, even with bad weather. It was just awesome. And we'll get into that in a few minutes. So this weekend is Father's Day tomorrow. I was going to have a show as a follow-up to Cobble, but, you know, it's a lot of the family because next weekend, we're at Charmingfare Farm, and I'm gone from Friday to Monday. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of the family. So I just wanted to make sure I was here to support my family as they support me, you know, and not say it being in the studio when I'm home or whatever. Let's get some chores done or play some video games or hang out. And that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? Because everything in life is a balance, right? Everybody hears me okay, right? Everything in life is a balance, and I want to make sure that my family's got what they need from me as I get what I need from them. So you got to be fair, right? So I didn't want to get into planning all week. I didn't want to get into a 3-hour event tonight over the course of tonight. I just wanted to be there for my family and give them that respect. So that's what's happening. We are going to, what the plan is, I'll bring Wojo in, we'll side everybody, and everybody can hear me okay, because I just set everything back up from Cobble. I haven't even been in my studio at all this week. I've been working until dark, got a little softball in, son plays baseball, and I just set it up. I just want to make sure everybody can hear me okay. If you can hear me, just say yes, please. Thank you. But let's bring Wojo in. I got yep, all right, you can hear me because Stacy just answered me. What's up, Ghost Girl? Oh, that's not good. I have somebody backstage. You're going to sit tight, sir, and I'll bring you out in a few minutes. You look lovely in the wilderness, I might add. I like the breeze in the goatee area. You know what's funny is I have a video. I wish I could share it, but there's too many personal conversations in there. But it sure was fun making it. There's actually 2 good videos. Somebody got me really good, and then Payback was a bitch. That's for damn sure. But I have Wojo and somebody else to thank for that, which I'll thank when they're here, because then it'll be a giveaway. Oh, yeah, let's have some dinner while we're here, yes.
Do you want, I didn't bring down any butter.
No butter?
I wanted to make sure you.
I'm just kidding. I love you. You are the greatest of them all. Hope you don't mind if I eat some dinner, late lunch, dinner, evening time. Oh, I should be a singer. I don't know what I'm doing. I could make millions. People laughing at me, throwing shit at me. Yeah, it's the same thing as Bigfoot, I guess. Anyways, welcome to my lovely co-host in all his glory, the Wojo. Ah, what'd you do? But look at him. His big debut and he blew it. You're frozen.
What?
Ron is a boomer trying to work a phone.
Oh my God! You gotta be kidding me.
Nothing?
Give me 1 second.
Really?
Come back to me.
That's all we get.
This is unbelievable.
I'm going to let him go. Bye. All right, well, I'll bring up my new co-host of tonight with much better technology and knowledge on how to use it. And let's see. Let's bring up my new co-host, the Tinsley.
Hey guys, how's it going?
I can't hear you either. I can't hear you.
Can't hear me? Oh no.
I suck at this.
You hear me now?
He's frozen, and he can't. I can't hear him.
Oh,
Is it-
what?
I can't hear you guys. Can anybody else hear him?
Yeah. That's kind of weird.
Oh, I can hear me fine. I can't hear nobody.
Hello. Check. One.
Hear Tinsley? Yeah, I can hear him. So then it's on my end.
Oh boy.
Hang on a minute. Let me see. Let me try that again. That's a mute. Audio. Yeah. I heard the promo. I heard my promo. Microphone. All right.
Hello.
Communications. Yeah. The digital audio interface. USB 212. Yeah, that's what that is. So, all right. I can hear everything. Everybody can hear me, but I can't hear my guest. Oh my God. Why is it like this? It keeps cutting in and out. All right, yeah, but I can't even hear him though. It's like dead silence on my end.
Hello. Check.
Let me push buttons. I'll be right with you.
2, 1, 2.
Anybody? Check 1, 2.
I'm
I push
getting
the
it.
button. Yeah, thanks, Ron. Appreciate that. I don't know where we're on. No, nothing. Nothing, Michael. That's plugged in.
Sorry.
That's plugged in. And you can hear me, Mike?
I can hear you perfect.
Yeah. Well, I can't hear you at all. You're just mouthing.
On
We
my
lost Wojo completely.
showing.
Is he? This is why there's no show tonight. It sucks. That's why.
Oh,
What the?
Canceled. Good night, everybody.
night.
What the hell? Let me see. Yeah, I don't have any option on here. Yeah, I'll maximize you so everybody can hear you.
Hey guys, how's it going?
No, I can't hear you. I'm throwing you out.
Wait.
All right. So, anyways, reset it, Mike. But I don't know why they can hear him and I can't.
I just
Huh? Where's your phone?
upstairs.
What?
I thought I heard something when he was talking.
Really?
Could he be through like the Bluetooth or something?
No. Yep, it's direct. I got a direct line right here.
For your
Yeah. It's already turned up. Anyway. Oh. What is it?
oh, something just popped down. What is that?
Mike Tinsley has joined.
Can you hear me?
Oh, nothing.
Hello.
I can hear static.
Ken?
Oh, yeah. Hello, everyone. Wojo's talking in private chat now. Oh, look at Wojo.
Hey, where's the meatloaf?
I can't hear Wojo. Why can't I hear him? Can you hear Wojo, Mike?
Can
No.
you hear me?
Now I can.
Ah!
There we go. There's something.
Wojo, say hi to everybody. I'll be right back.
Can anyone hear me?
I got you, Woj.
All right.
How you doing?
How you doing? Hey, everybody, welcome Mike Tinsley on the show. Hey, we are home of the boom. Welcome. Boom. Jesus. What is going on here? Saturday. Nice to see you, Ron. Thank you. So what's going on your end there, Mike? I would love to say hello to everybody, but we are a little bit behind.
Yeah, so it was tough getting back to work after that weekend last weekend, you know. but it looks like next weekend we're going to get together and have some more fun. So I'm pumped.
Oh,
With
God,
shirt,
yeah.
Cobble Mountain shirt, drinking my Cobble Mountain beer.
Yeah. That's
awesome.
good stuff.
We had the rain come in, but it was a great weekend. I know you guys did some stuff on Sunday. Can't wait to kind of hear about that. You guys went out with Ernie and Tim and Eric, and sounds like, you guys had quite a time. So I'd love to hear that story.
All right, so Mike, you know what? There are people here to say hi to you. We got Vextasy, that's Ron. You got Ghost Girl, hey girl. You got Gene Tewksbury, Mary Newberg. I know Mary was on here very early, but hey, that's awesome. And of course, the lovely Stacy Dickerson. She was the very first one. And also the Vogel brothers are on here, the Colorado Critter Project.
What's up, guys?
And I'm scrolling, guys. So, okay. Oh, and of course, my friend Deirdre. Hey, Lunk. Oh. So, So next week, we have the Charmingfare Farm. I'm looking forward to that. Seeing you boys and girls up there again, because we had so much fun at the Colorado Mountain Critter Fest. Despite the rain and everything else, all I can say is it was still a hit. The people up there were really wonderful. And so tell us about your experience, Mike, of the Colorado Critter Fest.
So it was, first of all, it was an honor to be invited up there with you guys and to speak and to hang out. Kelly couldn't make it, but he's going to be there this weekend. So we're going to have some fun with him. So I went up there with my daughter and my son-in-law, Matt, and we were, also shooting for our Man Ape Among Us series. So going up there, we really didn't know what to expect. Just excited for the adventure, and it's like 3 hours away for us. So we made it there Friday afternoon. And they told me when I showed up that Richie and Wojo was sleeping in a little cabin, so I had to go say hi. And we can talk to Richie about that a little later on. But that night we settled in. We had some burgers and we went out in the woods and we heard some crazy stuff out there going on. So it was a great group of people, lots of just great conversation all weekend, meeting people at the fair. Even though it was rainy, the people were standing outside in the rain talking to us. I was drenched from head to toe, my hoodie, my socks, my boots, everything was wet, but I wouldn't have changed it for the world. The people that were there talking to us, wanting to hear our stories, wanting to get to know us, tell their stories. It was amazing. It's a great area. It's a great spot. And the thing is, I think that it's going to grow. I think getting the word out, and it's just such a good vibe that it's going to be a destination next year for people to go out there. There's so many fascinating stories, and there's so many just great people out there. It was a wonderful location. Great job, done by the Cobble Mountain Critter Project, and hanging out with you guys, and it was a blast.
Eric and Tim really outdone themselves for their very first Cobble Mountain Critter Fest, despite the rain. It was sad to see some people that were lined up, but once the rain came, they turned around. But you know what, though? They'll be back. But also, let's talk about the camp itself, the beautiful lake that they have there. Even though me and Richie did think about doing some cannonballs, but that would have been pretty interesting. All the cameras. Hey, what are those two guys doing? We're skinny dipping. No kidding. But anyways, maybe like some rope swinging or something. But anyways, the camp I thought was fantastic. The land, but one thing about it is very squatchy, and there's a lot of other
wildlife.
Wildlife. I saw a black bear, deer, turkey
running through the front yard. Oh yeah, yep, everything.
Yeah. And the birds just loud and chirping, but yeah, I mean that's what to me was like. This is like I don't know, like high end squatching.
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
with the cabins and and everything else. And it was great to see people that you can put faces to, like Gene Tewksbury.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I never met Matt and,
Yep.
and your daughter, so that was great to see them.
Yep.
And Animal from Expedition Files was
Oh,
out there, and Ernie Davio. Ernie Davio. Let me tell you something about Ernie Davio, folks. Is that his story that we ended up, me and Richie, and our friend Paul Frazier from Western Ohio. We went out there and did a reenactment. I mean, that was just like second to none. But the story he tells, now we're doing the reenactment, showing the spots and everything. To be up in Drake Mountain, even though I was having a stroke and a half. I mean, there was a lot of walking. The day we're coming home, I was tired, but I'll tell you, it was second to none to be out in those the part of Western Mass. I mean, it was just beautiful, and I'm just like really happy to meet all sorts of people.
Yeah, it was cool to meet Matt Moniz. Hey, there he is.
Check 1-5. Check 1-5. Everybody hear me okay?
I can hear you. Can you hear us?
Don't stop, Tinsley. Mouthing.
You were blaming them.
Yeah. No, I went backstage and I went to go click over to my headphones and it just kept flashing. It wouldn't let me get in. So I had to unplug it and then set it to the default and then plug it back in. I'm like, what the hell happened? Probably all that rain over at Cobble Mountain, right?
Right.
Dude,
Yeah.
did we not have a time of our life?
Yeah.
It was insane, right? And when we first went in, the manor house is really cool. It's I don't know, it's wild. When you get in there, it is a Boy Scout setting, right? All these different buildings, right? You can almost smell the old wood and everything else, And it reminds me of a place down here in Kingston called Camp Norse. And I went there as a kid, and it just reminded me of that. And me and Wojo, Tim Vogel's like, yeah, so you guys are going to sit up over here in this cabin to do your show and stuff, right? And we're like, I look at Wojo. Wojo looks at me. We're thinking the same thing as usual. And I'm like, oh no, we're going to live in this. And I said, I'm pretty happy where I am right now. Look at my studio. It's my light. Look, you see that thing just come down?
That light.
I don't understand what's happening. I went away for a little while. I took a week off. Everything's breaking. Oh well, whatever. So, and we were like, no, we're actually gonna stay here 24/7, bro. He's like, oh, okay, if you want to. I'm like, hell yeah. Like Ronnie says.
We told Tim we kicked ourselves out and we're going to the cabin.
Yeah. Yep.
We have AC. We have a sink, and we also had a microwave. We also had the most important thing, a refrigerator. So we were like, and that couch that Richie loved. He's like, yeah, we're here. I'm like, okay.
I'm not moving. I'm not moving. And then I get there and I'm wiped out tired, right? So we first get to Cobble Mountain. Here we go, right? No, don't go anywhere, you jerk. You're part of this story.
Oh no, I know.
Hi, Deirdre. How are you? And no, there are bears in Mass, just not a lot of bears around where we are. You know what I mean? So we don't deal with bears in the South Shore. I mean, unless they're on the news and you know right where they are. But anyway, so we get there, and it was funny because I haven't really chimed in with like the psychic ability type thing that I have, the sensitive stuff, right? And they take us out to was that Cobble? No, was that Cobble Mountain we were on? Yeah. And there's a cemetery out there and things like that. And we're having a great time, animals there. And I'm like, dude, it's like 1 a.m. And we've been up all day, setting up, traveling, all that stuff. And I'm like, finally get back to the cabin. What was it, 3:30, Woj, before we started passing out?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I had a TV set up on so I could watch YouTube in the cabin. So I had my hotspot going, And
Small Town Monsters.
Yeah. Well, whatever. I like some of their stuff. I like what's his name? I lost his Seth Breedlove. His stuff's pretty good. His stuff's good. It's just, other people work for him. But October Mountain. There we go. Thank you. I knew it wasn't that mountain. Thank you. I think is that Eric hiding behind there, or is Tim hiding behind? Usually Tim just shows himself. What's up, Moon Squirrel?
What's up?
Yeah, so I'm not doing a big show tonight or anything. Like I said, I just took a little time off for the family after being away for a few days. We left Thursday night. We were supposed to leave Friday. So I was gone Thursday to Sunday, just wiped out when we got there. So Saturday, was it Saturday, Michael, when you got there?
I got there.
No,
Friday night.
it was, yeah, no, was it Friday afternoon you got there? That's when you woke me up.
Yeah, it was late afternoon.
Yeah, it's like 3:40 or something like that. So Thursday we're wiped out. So Friday comes, we get all set up. I got the couch on the porch, right? A little bit of a nice breeze, right? I'm like, oh, this is heaven, right? So I grab my big woolly freaking comforter. I got my pillow all set up. Wojo's going to take a nap in the cabin, dude. And I passed out into a baby drool sleep. Like I was like, ah, right? Lo and behold, I didn't know I'd only get 39 minutes worth of heavenly sleep, right? Where my body would recover. And all of a sudden, something starts kicking the porch that I'm on, and the whole cabin's like blah, 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 blah. And here's Tinsley with his phone on me as I wake up, and I'll set up the video for you guys, not right now, but you'll see the video. And I jump up and I look. It reminds me of Kramer from Seinfeld.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jesus,
Right? I jump up and I'm like,
Kramer, you look like
yeah, my hair, my bushy bands out the hair, my hair's everywhere. And I'm like,
actually, you know what? If anybody's ever watched Taxi,
oh yeah. Well, you know, Jim.
Robert De Niro goes talking to me, and his hair is just like everywhere, like talking to me. Richie's like head sideways, right? He's just like up in the air like this.
Oh,
Like what's going on? But meantime, I'm in the cabin.
I should see if
I
I can.
heard the banging, and I thought we got struck by lightning because we have had.
it was literally thundering and lightning around.
I'm like this, just like drool everywhere.
Oh.
No, I'm like this. I'm like, what the fuck, right? And then like I got one eye like barely open. I hear Wojo, it's Richie. I'm like, something happened. I go out there. There's Tinsley. I'm like, son of a bitch.
I'm like, Wojo, your boy's here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if I can send it right now so the audience can see it.
Oh yeah, I was a cockeyed.
I don't mind. I don't mind being the butt of a joke. I think they're great. I do it all the time. And we end up getting Tinsley back. We can't show you that video because some of the things that were going on during the video. I might clip it out so you can see Matt Moniz act like he was in a Grease Lightning Broadway show. Dude, he swung around and his hair was like this, and he's like, "Go Grease Lightning." We can't tell him the story though.
Oh, by the way, Mike, you do a great job of turning off the inside light of your vehicle. I'm like, Richie. He goes in there and he thought he turned off this light, and then I'm like peeking around the corner with Richie, and he's like, we're like, Tinsley didn't turn off the freaking lights. I go, is he all there? We started laughing. So that's when we went around.
Oh no,
Richie, the light is still on. Is he in there or is he not? This Mike like this. Yeah.
No, let's tell the story. Well, download them.
Not for nothing, I was 3 deep in those Cobble Mountain critters. Those.
Hang on, I got them.
8.6.
Yeah, so I don't drink, but I wanted them as a souvenir. So my good friends, the poor things, had to drink their own and drink mine to make it empty.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that one right there. The lighting in here sucks. So what happened is I moved my camera back so I could have more room in my studio. So now I got to get another lighting system above the camera in order for it to cast. So anyways, it's an adjustment. But yeah, Cobble Mountain Critter right there, man. And you said that they were good, right?
They are. They're for a double IPA. Oh yeah, they're really good. They're really smooth. They go down way too easy. I'm sure Wojo can attest to that. They go down a lot better than you'd think.
It says New England DIPA. This monster of a DIPA will get you. We use a very light base malt, allow the hops to be the star of the show in the beer. Copious amounts.
I'm an IPA guy. It's got a great hoppy flavor. It's got that vibrant New England style to it. And yeah, they go down easy. And they're like 8.6, 8.9 something. So you get 3 deep of a couple 16-ounce. They hit you.
Yeah, so the boys were ripe. And
that's why the car light wouldn't go off. I literally went and hit every button. Next day,
I think that's why
I realized that I had stuff stuck in the trunk, so it wouldn't go. It wouldn't go off.
Oh, I got to go back one. So we do. Oh, video that won't play. No, that's the wrong one. What's today's date? June 14th. It's not showing that to me.
Yeah, all that cooking, Mike, and everything. I mean, I was thirsty. And then then Tim and Eric showed up with the beer, and then I just like polished it up like that. And you just looked at me, you just go, "Oh, master."
Well, I'll tell you what, Wojo, I'm trained at this stuff, and I heard the sound of your can as it hit the table, and I'm like, whoa. I was trying to be polite. If it was a race, I would have. I was up for the competition, but so I knew I was in good company at that point. I knew that it was cool.
It was so good and refreshing, but yeah, it was it was great. Me and Richie did a lot of the cooking, and
yeah, you did a great job. Burgers were great. Those what'd you call them?
Kielbasa?
The burgers, the quesadilla burgers you guys made. Oh
yeah, Richie.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
so
the-
my kids love queso. My kids love queso, right? What's up, Animal? What's up, Tim? Gene
Hey
Tewksbury,
guys.
Stacy. I don't even know if we said hi to everybody after all that fuckery. Ron in his mouth. Welcome to the show. I'm gonna save it right here and see if I can get it right in my drive. It didn't come up last time. I'm gonna try it again. So yeah, so my kids love quesadillas. So I was out cooking one night and I said, you know what I'll do? I had peppers, onions, mushrooms. I threw them on the burger. I like to melt the cheese over the top to hold everything in place and it pops in your mouth. And then I drizzled that quesadilla on and I put on it and I didn't tell the kids and they were like, what is in this? They went nuts. You know what I mean? So yeah, really good, right? Isn't that a good idea?
Oh,
Yeah.
that was a perfect topping, dude. You got me hooked because I was putting it on everything.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. No, so we had a lot of fun. I made the kielbasa. I cut them in half. I put cheese on top. You can have a kielbasa sandwich, hot Italian sausage. I came with a whole cooler full, probably 2 cooler fulls. One was mainly liquid, but a cooler full of food. And just started throwing it down like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like anytime somebody wanted to eat the Italian came out of me, I just have to cook for everybody. You know what I mean?
The only vegetables were the tater tots that Wojo hooked up, and those were delicious too.
Yeah, so the tater tots, I like to buy tater tots and make them in the hash brown or the old school hash, but I didn't like the flavor with the potatoes in it. So I always you could either cut them up and make it like a pile of hash or whatever, or you could press on them and crisp them up and make them into the individual hash brown as a tater tot. It's insane. It's insane. So one thing I made one night, I made the hash brown. I made the tater tots in the bread. So I pressed them. Pressed them, right? And then I put a top, and I forget what I had on it, maybe a sauce. It was like a breakfast sandwich, but then the other half was hash brown again. So you picked it up and you ate your breakfast sandwich, but the hash brown was the bread. It was sick. Oh, my.
Clamp stealer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, what's up, clamp stealer? We want a picture of what you're doing with those clamps, by the way, because they were very important for you to take them back to Florida.
Yeah, by the way, you're not allowed to even hold clamps anymore because my nipple still hurts.
Yeah, and that's right. I did. I got your nip really good.
I can't believe you got me.
Dude, I hit it like right on the spot from above. I was like, pink, and I let it go, and he goes, ah! He was fighting with it.
I'm moving around, right? And he comes over the top. Like, it was I'm talking the very end of my nipple. You know, hanging. I was like, ah! I go, how did you get that?
And then, what's that good? What's he doing? And then he was fighting like he had hornets around his head trying to get the thing off. That was a lot of fun. We had a blast. But yeah, and Animal brings up the burnt bacon. That was Wojo, not me. Well, it's the truth. I'm not gonna take the brunt of that. But but I did. I got your nipple really good. I forgot all about that.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, that was good. Let me see if this uploaded.
Hey, Denny O'Donnell. How are you doing,
Where's
bro?
Denny? What's up? Oh, that's the highlight of my whole weekend.
Yep.
I'm telling you, my highlight of the weekend is hearing some dude walk up and go, what's up, Richie B and Wojo? And we're like, well, who the hell are you? And he's like, Denny O'Donnell. I was like, oh, shit, Denny O'Donnell's here.
Yeah, he fooled me. He's like, hey, I know that voice is going to be the Wojo. I'm like, yeah, who are you? I'm Denny O'Donnell. I'm like, holy shit. And the look on our faces was priceless, Mike. It's great to see, like, people that, have been, part of our family. And you just like, you try to match the faces, whatever. And there he is.
Yep. And he walked up. He had one of my shirts on. I was like, oh my God, there's somebody over there with my shirt on. And then he says hi. And I was like, oh shit. So I call him over to the car. He's kind of a shy dude. He kind of likes to keep to himself, and of course that ain't us. So we're like talking and stuff. And I'm like, dude, why don't you come with us to the meeting or whatever? I said, you're going to hang around for a bit? He's like, oh, can I? I said, hell yeah, dude, let's go. So we went up to the meeting and stuff with all the speakers and the Vogels, and he was he left. I gotta be honest, that was really cool being able to sit in there with you guys and chill out and just. I go, dude, yeah, everybody's just so much fun. You know what I mean? And
That was a blast, just hanging out, talking to everybody all weekend. You know, those little meetings that we had, those get-togethers. You look around the room, and it was such a great time,
dude,
such a great time.
It was awesome. Tim Vogel's here, and his name is Denny with an E. You donkey.
Pony boy, come on.
Come on, pony boy, wake up. Where's Eric when you need him?
Yeah.
Donna Copus. Donna, I got your message, and yes, I would like to talk to you. I apologize. It's been a whirlwind of a week. I got home from Cobble Mountain and went straight to work to try to provide for all these little animals I have. And but yes, once the festival season, we're just doing the festivals in June. After that, we're wide open. So we're gonna stop booking for July. And I'd love Donna to come on and share some of her story and history and obviously research with us. That would be awesome. So Donna, I'd love that. So Denny went out with us to the meeting, and then afterwards I said, "Hey, dude, you want to go Bigfooting with us tonight?" And he was like, "Yeah, dude." I'm like, "Let's go." So we went Bigfooting with Denny O'Donnell, man. It was freaking awesome. And if you were local and didn't make it, screw you, okay? Denny had a ball, man. We hung out, man, and we had a good time. And
yep.
It's
festival tickets too.
Yeah, and we had experiences in the woods. We had activity in the woods, not just with. It wasn't just me and Denny O'Donnell. We had eight people. Sometimes it wasn't. All right, let's count because we don't got the number right. So we got Davio, we got Moniz up in the middle.
Yep.
We got Wojo and Tewksbury on the rim. So I tried to set up like a circle. So everybody had a circle ring. Of course, Tinsley fucked it up, but that's a whole different subject. So
I came in and everybody was already doing their thing. So I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'm going in.
That's because Matt was just showing up. So that's
no, I know. So he was waiting for them. So he came in a little bit later. So he didn't have the plan. So all of a sudden, Sasquatch Jr. comes walking in the woods. We're having activity, but he don't know because we ain't got radios. And even if we did, he wouldn't have one. And and I'm hearing this crunching behind me. I had a yell, didn't I? I yell over, Tinsley, is that you?
Yeah.
Like you have some long ass strides. You're like, you're doing things. I'm going, and me and Gene, like we turned, we can see you. I'm like, that's Tinsley. Oh, look at him with the feet up in the air. And Richie's like, you hear Richie going, dude, really?
No. Because we were tracking something. We were on to something. Me and Denny and Stan, Gene's husband, he was amazing. We went, because I'm like you, Tinsley. I don't like paths. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, is that woods? Here I go. You know what I mean?
Oh, I got tore up too. I got those barberries and the stinging nettle out there. Oh yeah, I got back to the room, the bunkhouse, and my legs were just tore up and bloody. I loved it.
Yeah, no, you earned it. That's badges of honor, right? So when we first went into the woods, right? Me and Stan, like we're on our circle. We're supposed to be in our circle. And I looked at Stan, and Stan looks at me, and I could tell he was itching to go. He's like me. He was like ready to jump into the whatever poison ivy briars, like wee, like I don't care. And I said, dude, I can't stand here. I said, let's go. He's like, yeah. So we start walking down, and there's this big thicket in front of us from like 15 maybe feet away. But beyond that, we started hearing this movement, and it was big. And I remember I froze. I put my hand up to him, and I said, all right, shh. And he goes, oh. And then I kind of stood there, and I said, oh, that's big too. And then he goes, and it's not that far out. And I said, bro, that's like 30 yards, 40 tops. And he agreed. He might have said that, but we both agreed on it. It was 30, 40 yards, same exact numbers we had. And so we sat there frozen, listening, and it got to the point where it was moving around so much, I didn't know if it was going to come at us. So I took the flashlight and I pointed behind me. And I looked for a trail out of there. So I looked at him and I said, that's your exit right there. And I showed him his exit because we didn't know where we were. We're in foreign land. And I'm thinking, I'm going to turn around and run into a tree. You know what I mean? And as that thing was moving off to the right, we heard this real lighter snap, like a little stick on the ground, like something moved. And I go, that must be the little one, you know? And Denny's here. Denny says, Rich, you think that was infrasound that hit us the other night? It was like a wall of energy that I couldn't pass through. Yeah, dude. This is the other thing. Now, the beautiful thing about this is we're researching, man. We're in full research mode, all of us. And so wait, I counted 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. Did Matt end up coming down? Wasn't he brief?
Moniz was there.
No.
I was and my daughter were there briefly, and then they took off.
Right.
Yeah.
So we had 7, then 9, then 11, and then back to 9. So that's how that went. So um it was wild. So yeah, so we were researching in full mode, man. Like we were walking through the woods, we were hearing things, and we were all communicating because we didn't have radios. We were communicating the best we could. Wojo and Gene had infrared up top, looking over all of us, and we were almost on a collision course with each other at that point. But I didn't realize it until I got closer. We kept following. I said, "Well, let's just keep pushing it, and see where it goes." And we could hear it moving. And there was a point where you heard that reverberation kind of come through the woods, right through you. And we've heard it many times. We believe we even recorded it on a cut twice, I believe, on recorder while we were investigating in our research area. So we're in there, and me and Stan at first, we're in tune, man. We know what we're hearing. And I'm whenever I hear a noise, I'll just look over without saying anything right away. And you could see the other researcher's head snap in the direction of the sound because it's human instinct. And it kept happening. It was 100% accurate every time. It was crazy. What's up, Tim? So it was wild. And then as we went, Stan fell off. Denny kind of joined me because he was coming up, and I said he had a red light on. And I said, shut your red light off, because to me in nature, red light is aggressive. So I was like, I didn't know. I was like, just shut it off. You know what I mean? Not that I was an expert or anything. It's just instinctually, I was red. I was like, red bad. Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's like
Damien
got a different style and a different technique, right? So it was the first time I got out with you guys to understand what you're doing, what you're listening for. You guys take a different approach than say me and Kelly would, or somebody else. So
most
once we start getting, well, that's it. It's all I've been thinking about is your technique. Going over some stuff that I had with the audio. I wish you kind of stayed quiet for a minute and let the owls talk instead of trying to talk back over to them. But
nope,
some of that stuff I was trying to
that
break
won't
down,
happen.
and I'm like, oh, that's definitely Richie. Oh, there he is again. Shit, I can't.
I'm that good, huh? Wow, thanks.
But my point is that there was a lot of stuff happening, and where they were looking down was kind of this kind of ravine, kind of a draw going down a hill, right? And it was filled with compost. Well, not so much compost, but wood chips. So a lot of times when you have a compost pile or wood chips, the animals, the wildlife will come check it out because they smell stuff differently. And it just so happens to be where I think that could have been like there's definitely a game trail and a washout through there. So it wasn't too difficult to kind of get through that area. Me and Wojo talked about that the other night. I think it's a spot where game was used to coming up. The wood chips kind of filled it in, so it kind of changed it a little bit. And not far behind us, if there was the mess hall with the dumpsters, right? So there's definitely wildlife in there. I saw deer on the way through the field. I saw deer getting pushed out. So you guys definitely jumped some deer. I think you guys said you saw, Wojo said he saw some bear the next day. So wildlife was there. It's a hot spot for Bigfoot activity. If there's anything we learned was that there's Bigfoot all in those woods. So with the stuff that we heard, the stuff that you guys witnessed, and then the craziness between the owl sounds, and we can get into that at some point too, but those stuff going on that was unexplainable. And
it was wild.
Well,
yeah,
Tim, Mike, with the owl sounds, like me and Rich have been used to this down in our area and so on and so forth. Now we have other researchers, a lot of us together, and what I applaud Richie for doing is that after a few howls back and forth, then he intervened to, all right, so we know some people say these may be owls, but yet we're trying to prove a point at the same time that it's not, not real owls. So that's why Richie took upon himself to try to mimic them. And obviously that they're like, shit, this guy's fucking us up, because of, they were making different sounds now. And some of them were just kind of drawn out. And it's just that guys like yourself and everybody else can say, yeah, those not owls. Those are like something else that's trying to act like an owl.
Well, if I may intervene a little bit here. So what happens is, as you know, time in the woods makes your light keep falling down. But anyways, okay, there's a light, everybody. So time in the woods, you start picking up on things, right? You get better at it. You get better at the sounds. You get better. Just even the crunching of the leaves, you can tell how wet they are when it rained. You know what I mean? So you can adapt to wilderness, and it's natural for humans to adapt to wilderness. That's where we
That's what
came
we're
from.
supposed to be doing.
Right.
Instead,
Right.
we're spending it on the computer or doing other things. That's why people have ADHD. You're supposed to be alert to every little sound, every little creak, understand it, know it, sense it.
Well,
Yeah.
that's why they call it ADHD, because you think you're looking around everywhere, but like you said, your natural instinct is to do that. So you actually absorb things, and you absorb things after the fact mostly. Like anything else, you go home and you reflect, right? And when I reflect, I start hearing the different birds. So I know the different, and I'll get on Google and I'm like playing the bird sounds that I have, and I'm trying to match them up, and I'm trying to be scientific in a sense and not just jump to conclusions. And I've had owl sounds, and the barred owl I'm very familiar with, screeching owl I'm very familiar. I've listened to them over and over again on my Google, and try to match them up with what we have. And there's always this hook when you could tell a mimic at the end. It kind of hooks, but in that hook, if you listen to that hook, it's like a gurgly sound, right? And if you listen to a barred owl, it's like a singing sound. It's very fluent. You know, they just flow.
Mhm.
But when you can hear a mimic and you pick up on it, you can hear that guttural kind of, you know, graspiness, say, right? So that's what happened. I listened for the first two, and then he did it again. And I figured, I said, well, if it's an owl, he ain't going to give a shit what noise I make. He's going to make his noise. You know what I mean? They mimic each other. Barred owls mimic each other in the same way. Woo, 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 woo. Well, I walked in, and then the third time I did something, I stopped, paused, and then I threw a out there. And that thing almost, you could hear the silence. It was like, you know, almost a full minute of thinking, like, what the was that? Now, if you're a natural animal, like if there was something in the woods, like we heard, and it was a bear or a deer, it's running through the woods and it's gone. It's not going to sit there and play with us. I'm not going to hear it every 30 feet, 20 feet. That thing's out of there. It's gone. And like a bird, they're not going to sit there and go, and yell it back at you. They're just going to make their sound. And he didn't make his sound. So I went back at him a couple of times. You could hear him at one point. That was right before the fight that he got in with the other one, where it almost sounded like two primates in a cage.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it sounded. I pissed him off.
So
Sorry, guys.
So for me, it sounded like, this is my take. The owl sounded rather normal, right?
Yep.
And from the direction that they were coming from, they sound like they were coming from up in the tree lines from two different spots. When I heard the two monkeys fighting, that was down and centralized. That was,
I agree.
Actually, I heard it differently than I heard the owl sound. It sounded distinctively different.
Yep.
And that's what I was looking for. I was trying to find that through my GoPro, through some audio stuff that Animal sent me. And
but
that's kind of that's where my brain goes.
The good thing about it, and bitching about me, is perfect because I'm down low, dude. You can use me as a comparison to where their sound was coming from.
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
That's because I'm 6'4" and you're 5'4". So
he's talking about my girth.
but again, you know, when you have these type of calls, like, you know, owls and whatever,
right?
Yeah, too. There's also content involved. Richie hearing, Richie and Denny and the gang hearing the snaps and the movements going on their end, and me and Gene heard that too.
Yep.
But also we have, you know, two objects on the thermal that appeared out of nowhere, and they moved several times.
I can't get it.
So then we call it quits, and Tanse Elder,
Tanse.
So when you have all that, and then Richie, I can hear, you know, Richie quit, so we can come together, and then all of a sudden the owls start. And when the owls start, Ernie and Matt Moniz behind us heard chatter. And then after a while, then we see, you know, eye shine. So, and then me and Matt Moniz saw, you know, a shadow that came across. That's when Matt Moniz says, you know, I'm going to throw a rock at them. I go, you're going to do what?
I was right there. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and I go, "You're gonna
No,
do?"
and he's
I go, "That's not a good idea." But now he goes, "I just want a reaction." It's not like he's gonna throw it right at him. He just kind of lofted it near them just to get a reaction. And what was cool is that chatter. Um, I definitely saw a shadow, and Matt saw the same thing I saw. The thermal seeing two objects now, and obviously that Richie and those guys, they got snaps and possible like strong energy in their area, and again, everything just kind of has that context of you know how they do things. And then if they do the owl sound or they do coyotes, now they just try to draw you out. It's just a way of just drawing you out. That's why now we just come at them.
Well, I think that's what's fun is talking about the behavior, you know, um, to different reports and different circumstances. Ernie talked a lot about that, and he talked about a lot of actual theory, taking a lot of hypothesis, and kind of proving some of that stuff. So this is just another story, another thing that we have to break down, use as evidence, try to relate it with stories later on, and I kind of wish we had gone back the next day to kind of see what it was like, put boots on the ground in that area where they were in the daylight. But we got swamped out, with the fact we were up early. We were up, I think one of those, we didn't go to bed till like, as it was, like 3 in the morning. And then we were up all night. So we're not, because we were planning on going back out. And we did find some stuff where you guys got into some cool stuff around that bunkhouse that we were in
Right.
later on that night.
Right. I went up. All right. That story's funny because I don't get spooked much. I went out the truck to grab something of mine. And I remember I reached in the truck and I heard that bat owl sound again. And I kind of stopped and I go trying to decipher, is it real or not? It was quite the coincidence that the bat owl was now down that way, I guess. They could fly, it makes sense, but where I could hear it. And then all of a sudden I turned, I grabbed, I was going to come get you guys to come listen. So I grabbed what I needed. I took 2 steps away from the truck and I heard through the woods like steps. I thought somebody was coming down the road or coming down that hill through the woods. Yep. And I looked over, I saw nothing, but I heard 2 more steps. And I ran from the truck into the house like a scared kid. I was like, yo, man, come outside. Like it spooked me. And very rarely do I get that fight or flight feeling when I'm in the woods, and I know what it is typically when I do, But real quickly, back to the bat owl sounds and things like that. So a lot of people say bat owl 100% and they walk away from it and they leave it alone and we're cuckoo birds and all that shit. But the beautiful thing about the way Wojo and I communicate with each other and believe, we obviously bounce things off of each other. But we don't just stand in the woods and hear a sound and determine what it is. And we're not even saying even now it's Bigfoot. We're just saying we know there's history of them mimicking, but we have recordings and recorders. And we listen to the sounds hundreds of times a piece. It's not like I have headphones on like I do now. And I sit there and I listen to that recorder over and I play it back and I play it again and I play it back and I play it again. And then I'll go on Google and I'll play the Google one. And I'm like, man, unless they doctored it, it sounds really clean compared to what I got, right? And I'll do that and I'll compare. So it's research, right? We're on a quest for facts. We're not pointing things out going 100% bat owl. You know what I mean? You just told me that it's a fact, and now there's no longer a need for a conversation. If I did that about every aspect of Sasquatch research, what the fuck would we get done? Right? Oh, that one's off the list. No sense of looking at that ever again. That one's off the list. No sense of looking at that ever again. And if you think for a second that Native Americans, Sasquatches, they don't go out and hunt and use natural nature sounds in order to locate one another so they know when the deer's coming in where they should be position-wise. We have, Charlie 6, I'm over here by the oak tree. Copy that, Roger. You know what I mean? We do that with radio. They don't have radios. Native Americans didn't have radios. They would copy a robin or whatever, tons of birds, whatever, they all come to mind. But,
if we had that conversation that night too about, or the next night, about, like I said, my thought was that those were barred owls, and then the chimp sounds in the middle were something else. And this is what we kind of talked about was the possibility, just like the Native Americans, the reason they use those robin sounds is because there's already robin sounds in the woods. So those distinct differences are what's going to stand out. So if you hear another human or another creature, if you're a Bigfoot and you're talking to another Bigfoot, those robin sounds, those blue jay sounds are what's going on, kind of like the barred owl talking and changing the tone in the middle of that. So that's my thought. I don't know.
I think
it's kind of like I said, there was whatever it was anomalous. I'm not saying that it was cut and dry barred owl.
No, and I'm not saying you are. Other people do.
Because I'll tell you what, this is the first time I told anybody that shadow that everybody saw. I didn't admit this. I didn't say I saw it before everybody fucking said anything, and I kept my mouth shut because that's how I roll. I see something, I wait for everybody else to say something. Everybody saw that shadow too. I saw that light. I saw where it was coming from. I know too that I take a step to the left and the right that a tree would block that. I know there was something, so it was, and since it was so dark, it was hard to judge distance and it was hard to judge the depth of what was going on. And I think that's, and everybody picked up a different vibe off that, and that's what I found very interesting.
But see, you just so again, whenever you saw something or you hear something, my first thing is I look at whoever's the closest one to me and see a reaction. That's what me and Richie always do.
Yep.
Okay. Now, Gene Tewksbury, I heard, like, I don't know if it was a tree knock or a snap from a distance, but it was dead quiet. I hear, and Jean, like, I'm behind her right shoulder, and she turned around and looked at me. She goes, "Did you hear that?" I go, "What did you hear?" I already knew what I hear. I want to hear it from her, and just to have confirmation. It should sound like like a tree knock. And I said, "Yeah." I go, "I'm hearing the same thing." That's what's tough, not having the radio, because I'm sure Richie and you guys were, actually like more like 4 o'clock to us, like on an angle on the right, because we're like 20 feet up on that plateau on the wood chips. So validation of what you're hearing and what you're seeing is very important. And that's why you should have just, whoever's the closest person, "Hey, did you just see that over there?" And then if someone says, "Well, what did you see?" "Shadow." "Yes, I saw that shadow right over there." I would have, if you were with me, I would have pointed it right out there. Matt Moniz.
I was next to Matt, and Matt saw it right after I spotted it, and he said something. So I didn't speak up. I didn't have to because everybody else saw it. That was kind of, but that's also at the same time getting to know you guys, how you are in the woods.
Yeah.
Me and Kelly go in the woods. We have our own thing.
Yeah.
That you guys probably wouldn't follow along and like, where the fuck did they go? What are they doing?
Right.
What's their plan? You feel lost or feel confused. And I think that's what's great about this is that you get your buddy and you have your ways of looking at what's around. And then when you get your buddy and we talk to you guys and we put our stuff together, we talk to other people, we start collecting data, right? That's the whole point, is we collecting data. So I wasn't sold on a lot of the, getting off topic a little bit, I wasn't sold on the tree structures, but after this weekend talking to Ernie, really sitting down with you guys, I'm really wanting to do some research on the structures. What kind of places are they found in? What kinds of trees are they made of? For that to plot on a map. And it helped talking to Tim a little bit. And it wasn't even so much about Bigfoot, but it was talking about the property that he's doing, planting trees and the forestation, and talking about how a lot of people don't look back, take a step back and look at the world from 30,000 feet. Not many people are able to do that. But when you start doing that and you collect data and you start plotting it, it starts telling a different story.
Right.
And that's kind of where I'm at. And it's getting me thinking to a lot of new ideas. Me and Kelly have some cool plans of how we want to approach a couple different things, using some cool technology. We're hoping to actually, and maybe we'll talk about this in the future. We're not ready to talk about it right now, but we think we have some ideas of some really cutting edge technology and techniques that nobody's using.
Yeah.
And it might blow your mind. It's definitely, it's its own thing, but that's coming up. But so looking back, and then narrowing in, we know that that whole area is loaded with wildlife and activity.
Yep.
I got to go back.
Yeah.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
I got to go back with more time, more thought, and if anybody else has the opportunity to go out there, especially next year, have an event, like you got to do it, guys. Like
you got to do it. And a couple things you said, Tinsley, that's very, very important to research, everybody. And we push it all the time. And we talked about it in our presentation there at the Cobble Mountain Critter Fest. And it's not gatekeeping, and it's sharing, because if you would say you and Kelly are over here doing your thing and me and Woj are over here doing our thing, and we're in the same woods and we come together and discuss it and we get the same results.
Exactly.
We have just laid out a whole data plan. You have a whole list of data to go by. It helps the validity of it. That's why we don't hold things back. That's why we are trying to create a community that is willing to share and talk about this stuff, right?
And that's what we spent a lot of the weekend talking about.
Yeah.
Was against that, because there are other groups and there's other organizations that tend to do that more than should be allowed. You know what I mean? It's just kind of one of those things where just, come on, guys. Like, if it's not the data that you're looking for your report, then don't dismiss it. Don't be cynical. That's one thing I've been preaching is skepticism is good. It's healthy. You invite Wojo was a skeptic when you first brought him out.
Yep.
That's good. That's healthy. Looking at it at different angles is healthy, but cynicism and cutting each other down and calling shit and trying to be the big dog on the friggin' like, nobody needs that. We're trying to build a community, and I think we're doing a good job.
Oh, yeah, baby. New England is coming. I've told you this. We're putting us on the map. That was the whole damn idea of me putting my face out here.
I was working on, when you hit me up with the link, I was actually working on a little clip from a year ago of you and I sitting down at Charmingfare Farm talking about that exact thing.
Yeah, I love it. I love it.
Bigfoot on the map in New England, and we're doing our best to make it happen.
Well,
but stop it.
Wants to be on the show, man. So listen, I got someone else who wants to be on the show. Well, really, I wanted him to be on the show. Because I got to ask him about that sentence that he left in the chat. So I figured I'd invite, not the, not the number one brother, but I went with like 1B. I hope you guys don't mind. All right. What's up, Tim Vogel?
Hey.
You know you ain't getting in here for free. Tickets, please.
Tickets, please.
Speaking of tickets, you guys
Richie,
got a big ticket.
I'm assuming you're talking about the camper that got slapped.
Yes. I saw that.
I
What the hell are you talking
say,
about?
What the poor little kid.
When was this?
No, we were doing this was, I think it was 2019.
Yeah.
And we had Bobo up here. He was doing a tour. It was called Bobo's Adventures Tours and things like that. And he was off doing a solo thing. He came up to the house, and we were here for 4 days doing a Bigfooting thing. Oh. And we had, same as you guys, we had experiences up here in the woods on the other side of camp. And we had, whistles and knocks and whatnot. And we had a group come down. It was either New York or Canada, one or the other. And they were parked up in that camper where you guys were all staying, or they were parked in that lot. And, third day in, their camper, actually the camper, the vehicle got slapped. And this is probably 3:00 in the morning, early in the morning. No one's out, and they got whacked. And it was they got out and they checked, they did whatever, and they come in the next morning and said something happened, something slapped their van, something hit their van, something did something to their camper. And no one was out there at 3:00 in the morning, hitting their van or their camper. Mm-hmm. So something was out there and actually hit it. Having said that night we had whistles. We had a group up in the swamp where we had a Class A sighting. So it's New England. We have, and Western Mass is just a jewel for, it's ecologically, it's got everything you need. It's got a little bit of everything, from the mountains to the swamps to the farmland to the natural harvest. We've got a lot of oaks. Just the natural harvest alone produces why we have such a good wildlife system. they don't go down the farm and, a couple of deer might steal some corn, but most of them are out there eating greens and acorns and whatnot that they're finding around. So
Yeah.
Bigfoots are doing the same thing.
Yeah, and that's interesting because my vision was when you said slap a camper, it was somebody that.
Yeah, I know you would.
What the hell? I get the shit scared out of me. I mean, you wouldn't know it, but Mike Tinsley kicking the friggin' thing. But I tried to upload that video. For some reason, it's not taking it because why would technology work when I needed it to? But no, I got to say, we've talked about this, all of us. And we've had sit downs right here on this very screen and the same visions and trying to build the community in New England, try to put up that wall and say, hey, it's here. Our friends are here in New England. You don't have to go flying off and doing all that. Come on out, offer up your research, offer up your techniques to one another, offer up your evidence to one another, have that conversation with each other. And I got to tell you, man, I know we're actually putting an effort but it's not like, every little thing I do, I'm like, I'm going to do this and it's going to make that goal better. It's so organic, dude. It's like yeah, right. Like you stepped away and said, I'm going to have a festival. Boom. And I'm going, oh my God, that's huge for what our goal is. Right. And in New Hampshire, and then I'm going, oh shit, they got their festival. Wait, what if we get these two festivals talking and start kind of boxing off that area where we're like more researchers, right? And it's amazing because everybody's on board. Everybody understands it. And it's like-minded people wanting to spread the love of the research, not the hate of the research, not the, you're interfering with me, I'm going to be a millionaire. You know what I mean? Like, what is that shit? Dude, if I was going to try to bullshit you with something, I would follow like the Karen Reed story or something silly where everybody's making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars off that murder. Horrible, horrible thing that happened. And they're all, oh, send it to my Cash App and we'll talk about Karen Reed all day. Yeah. I'm not, if I want to make money, there's other ways of making money, dude. I bet people say, come on and just be an asshole, an idiot like yourself, and you'll probably make money. You know what I mean?
There's money in Bigfoot?
Yeah. No, there is none. Yeah, there's money in Bigfoot. I'm spending it. Yeah, I spend it. That's what I do. So shut up. But but we go ahead. What?
For me, it's just sharing the information. We're all trying to research. We're all trying to go for the same goal. I don't know if it's who's going to get there first. I don't think that's relevant because no one knows of that. But having the information, so Mike, you can do your thing in New Hampshire and have all the information you need, not just pieces, that you're used to seeing. It could be other vital information over here that we're not getting that could be meshed together, and all of a sudden some dude in Vermont's got it and said, whoa, hey, look at this, all the 2 and 2 equals 4 now, that kind of thing. Simply sharing the information is not so much, I don't know, maybe I was talking about a database. I think it's more of a collective, so we can look and say, well, this is this, what kind of comparisons, patterns, things like that. More of a technical thing. And with the festivals, I do hope you guys get yours going up there in New Hampshire. I'd like to see that because it wasn't so much like a West. I've been hearing some things like West Coast, East Coast, things like that. That's just stupid. All it is getting people like ourselves recognized for the people or for the work they're doing out there that wouldn't normally have an opportunity to have a voice. And these are guys and gals that are doing the job, and they're doing a great job, and they had an opportunity. And I'm loving to continue this, and with the podcasts, it's also giving them a voice. And through these podcasts, I think you might be able to, you guys are like a collect-all. You have all these people on, and they're telling you all this stuff, and you're, believe it or not, collecting all this information. Yeah. And that's a reserve of information. Let's keep it like that. How do we collectively collect it? I don't know. But something in that podcast world, somebody will come up with something so we can, see different things in different areas and whatnot. But I think more realistically, it would be, I would be more than interested in putting on a researcher rendezvous and getting the local research group together throughout. It can grow as big as it wants. For right now, it'd probably be local, because locally you could probably afford to come to West Russell, Mass, and do it. If people want to come in from out of town, Pennsylvania, Ohio, Virginia, anywhere, we'd love to have you. Your information is just as vital as the next guy's. And so some sort of a rendezvous where researchers can get together, not so much a festival, vendors and things, a collective of people sharing information and focusing and not sidetracked by other stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe a couple of Cobble Mountain Critter beers or something, but
Yeah.
that's it. Just a couple, and that's it.
Oh yeah, just a couple. That worked out well. But anyway,
But I mean, I think realistically that would be more attainable than trying to build something online and doing stuff.
No, I think
Sharing information via podcasts like you guys, and a rendezvous once a year, and grow that. And
I think we all come out to your camp, like you're saying, and not have the festival, but just have, like you said, all our researchers just staying over, like you did the festival, but without the festival.
Right.
And we actually go out and talk techniques actually in the woods while we're doing an investigation, right?
Yeah.
And, do one in the day, do one in the night, sit around the fire, try to bring something in, play some music, mix it up and do different things and see if you can get, maybe someone has something that, we sit around the fire. Well, yeah, we do too. Yeah, but we do this. Oh,
Right.
shit, really? You know what I mean? So I think that's a huge thing to do. I think that would be epic, and it would bring more people into our little army, right? And I'm not trying to suggest there were a war. I mean, an army of friends. But like, for instance, for the first time ever in his life, Martin Fernbach is going to come and be a speaker at the Charmingfare farm. And I had called him and I reached out to him, and his story is remarkable. He's been on Sasquatch Chronicles. He had that interview. I remember when he got that, he was a little bit nervous about it. And I said to him, I'm going to put a little pressure on you. I really, really, really could use you, in this situation, because I'm kind of, leading in a lot of things and helping them out up there, and making that a platform for us to continue our goal in our area. And as Mike knows, Mike's very, very, very protective of his state. And having Mike Tinsley there and Kelly Porter there to represent, and now you add Martin to that mix, Henry's up there. New Hampshire is really starting to pop onto the map. And when this all first started, it was just me and Mike being giddy chicks talking in my basement, basically over the podcast with all these crazy ideas. But now it's really this physical people. Martin has a story that is so remarkable that all of us wish it would happen to us. We really wish with his story. We really, I'm just going to say he's an eyewitness. That's all I'm going to say, because that's what it says in his bio. But when you hear his story, it's so remarkable, and you see his enthusiasm, and you see, he's marked and all that stuff they talk about. He's had all these different. He has interactions with Sasquatch because he's supposed to, and he's just learning that aspect of it. And we talk all the time, right? And Wojo knows. Wojo talks to him. Wojo wishes him a happy birthday and stuff. They're really tight, I guess. But sorry, Martin, did I hurt your feelings? No, but I said to Martin, I really could use you. I think it's time you tell your story, and you're going to be a piece to this puzzle that we need in this area to put New England on the map. And the more people are, the merrier, and the stronger we become. And he's a shy dude, you know what I mean? So he's like, I don't know, dude. And then I kind of put it to him in a few different ways, like I do. And he goes, let me just soak this in, and I'll talk to the wife and see. And and of course he talks to her, and she's like, yes, it is time you tell your damn story, bro. Good for him. He's got that support, right? We all have that support, right? And with our spouses or family members or whatever it is, you got to have that support, because when you go to them, and she's a witness too, I guess, but when you go to them, and like for me, and I say, this is what happened to me in the woods, you know what I mean? You really got to hope your bond is strong, because it's nuts. And Martin agreed to do it, and he actually sent me over a picture and a bio that I guess him and his wife put together, and he's going to make his first speaker engagement up there at the Charmingfare farm. And it's gonna be freaking amazing. And I've been talking to the owner, John. We're actually setting up seating in front of the stage now, instead of having the picnic tables way off in the distance. I want people to know when you're going to speak. I want them to sit down. I want them to be part of it. And then I brought up a Q&A round table for all of us to sit on the stage and have people sit with us and ask us questions. Have a Q&A with the audience. I think that's important. A lot of big festivals are doing that. I love it. I think it's brilliant. And have them all talk and get the audience involved, because we might get a story out of this. We might 2 days later, you get that thing on Messenger, you're like, hey, man, I saw you at that festival. Can you get a minute to talk? And then damn, because that's kind of like what you said about the podcast. That's what happened with Martin. Martin watched the podcast. He goes, I've been on all these different pages trying to tell people what I saw, and all they do is ridicule, rip me apart, shit on me. He goes, and you guys look like you just are accepting of everything, but don't believe everything is Bigfoot. He goes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And that's how we became friends. And he's been out researching with us twice. He's had plenty of experiences in our research area, and he's a friend. I'm proud to say he's a friend of mine. But that's a gem that, Mike, you have right there in New Hampshire, that when you and Kelly go out, give that dude a call.
Yeah, well.
Have him go with you. You know?
We reached out to Henry a few times. You talk about people in the area that contribute to the shows and stuff. Henry's going to be there. He just messaged me earlier that he's going to be there for both days, Saturday and Sunday. So it'll be great to talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
See him. We got something going on up in Littleton, which we got to bring you up there, Rich. You got ties to Littleton, and we got to do an investigation around town. We have to go up there. I know it's for you. It's probably about 5 or 6 hours, but
a little over 4.
Okay.
Yeah. No. I used to make it there in 4. I mean, we were. Well, anyways, it's a long story.
Yeah, stolen car story.
Hey, my poor sister lives, many, many miles away from the asshole family. And then all of a sudden we're like, we got the cops looking for us. Where we got to go? Let's go to Littleton, New Hampshire. They'll never find us there. And then my brother's lights go out on the highway, and he gave me a spotlight. He goes, here, it happens once in a while. I'm like, what? We're on Route 3 North in the middle of the night, and a 67 Cougar. And we're like, whoa, no lights. And I'm hanging out the window with a spotlight. That's the good old days. You don't get away with that as much anymore. And Littleton's a magical, magical place. And I know it's built up like everything else in the world is, but the structure there, as far as like the stones, I mean, the cliffs, the sheer stone. Oh, my God. It's just walking around town. It's just all hills and brooks. And it's just, that place was, I just loved it. I loved it there, dude.
A lot of reports from up that neck of the woods. That's all.
It makes sense. Berlin, New Hampshire is another one. Berlin, New Hampshire. It was where I believe I had my first Bigfoot experience, but I didn't know that till I became a researcher. I was like, oh shit. Because we said adamantly as young kids, mid-teens or whatever, that was not a bear. I remember that. And my brother now will tell you that. We had that conversation. That was not a bear. That's all we knew. And that's all we ever said. That was not a bear. And here I am, a researcher, and I'm going, wait a minute, I know what that was. You know what I mean? Hi, Wojo, you still here?
Yeah.
You wearing pants?
No.
Okay, you can stay. Say
I'm
hi to Tim.
Leaving.
I'm leaving.
But to add on to you and Tim about the festivals is that you're also bringing.
No, I just wanted to put you on the bottom of the screen next to Tim. You guys look cute together. Go ahead.
So, anyways, no, what I was saying is you also bring in. We're talking to people on the sides, and they're telling me their stories, and where they don't share it with anybody else.
Yeah.
And I told Richie, like, this one couple, and I told him, yeah, we have 3 Bigfoots on the audio, and we make their callings, and we go, blah blah. And the woman just looked at her husband. He's just sitting there, smoking his cigarette, like just kind of in a blank face. He goes, "That's fucked up." I go, "What?"
Yeah. This is wait. This is during the festival. He's talking to people because he's the great ultimate telecommunicator guy. He's like, "Hello, welcome," and everybody just talks to Wojo, and then he's sitting there and he makes the sound. And what do they say?
And they heard the same exact thing at their place. And I'm like, what?
Brilliant.
I go, what? She goes, what you just did. Ha! Blah, blah. They have a farm. And they hear the same thing. And the guy doesn't, I can just, you read off, when you talk to people, you can just read them. Like, he doesn't really want to talk about it. But
yeah,
slowly but surely getting some, getting that information out from him was like really touching, first of all, and it was just amazing. I'm sitting there like looking underneath the top there, looking at Richie. I go, "You need to come over here." But he had the podcast going while I have all the evidence and explaining about him. But it was just, I was like, "You are hearing the same exact thing." He goes, "Yeah, they just keep screwing around with my shit and this and that." But again, Tim, it's them coming up out of nowhere and telling the story and feeling a little bit comfortable and confident. And I just said, "Hey, man, nothing for nothing. I don't mention names and whatever, and where you're from, but anytime, you can always reach out to us on Messenger, and if you ever want to talk about your story, and hopefully maybe they will like to talk to everybody of what they're experiencing, because some people don't even know what to do."
Yeah.
And I'm not saying we are the experts, because there's no experts in researching other than what we're researching and how we're communicating and things like that. They can learn a little bit, and with a little help of other researchers.
Yep, I agree. And I think that's brilliant. I think it's brilliant for the research, and I think it's brilliant because we now have someone else that has heard the words, excuse me, that has basically been recognized, I'll say, to be fair to the linguist, by a linguist.
Different areas.
Yep, 2 different areas, right? Exactly. You're 2 hours away from each other, right? And here's this guy at a festival brings up this sound, and they like freak, and it's a unique sound. It's not like a whoop or it's not.
Right.
It's not the typical thing you hear.
Right.
And
very random.
Yeah, and we brought it to the Vogels. The Vogels brought it to their linguist friend, and he came back with something. Ronald, I think it's a great idea what you're talking about. Maybe I found a job for you associated with my podcast finally, because I didn't know where to put Ron, because Ron really gives me a lot of shit all the time and makes him feel good about himself. That's fine. You go to Ron's house and there's no mirrors in his house. You know what I'm saying? All right. For one, he probably wouldn't see himself if he looked in a mirror. And for 2, who would want to? So, but good friends, we go way back. And I think something like that, Ron, a database setup like that, I think if you could be the catalyst for that, I'd throw it your way. Wouldn't you, Wojo?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I trust Ron with that. Maybe he would fucking stop bothering me. You know what I mean?
Get him, Ron. No.
He's gonna call me a fucking boomer. He's gonna say, "Why didn't you do this?" Shithead, idiot, stuff like that. Basic stuff like Tinsley does. Same shit.
But
I was, back to the rendezvous thing. If you get these people in a collective and get them in one room and you talk and you're looking eye to eye, you're sharing stories, you're having a coffee, having a beer, whatever. You're building a rapport with your kind. Let's say the same reason why they're there. And so now it makes that community smaller, and it makes that world a lot smaller. All of a sudden you're not down in Virginia, you're a few hours away and you're my buddy. And so the mentality is different. It's not fractioned, it's brought together, and you now have a friendship, with these different people. And you're more apt to work together if you have a friendship, as opposed to just some guy in Ohio or Kentucky or this or that. Then it's just, some people think of that as competition or something. Maybe that's not what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for the competition. Just the ability to share that information and build that community. So if we all know each other, if we're having, shooting the shit around a campfire, you're building that. And you can't build that via Zoom and stuff like that.
No,
we can talk, but you can't build that.
When you see everybody in their natural state and everyone's relaxed, having a meal, everyone's miserable because they're soaking wet from the day, so it's something that's relatable. So it's cool. It's cool to be able to make that connection.
What happened with you?
Wojo goes like this. He goes, like he's about to say something. Then Tim Vogel starts up and goes back to the research thing, right? And then you get done, and I see Wojo coming like that, and Tinsley goes, "Well, I got to tell you something." Twice he looked like a
I thought
dejected.
Wojo didn't talk on the show.
No, he looked like a dejected child at an ice cream truck that ran out of his favorite ice cream. He was pissed.
Well, getting back to what Tim said, the thing that I learned the most over the weekend was that Wojo actually has a personality. He's actually a real human. You don't let him talk on the show that much. So sorry, Woj.
Yeah, no, I'm not sorry. It works out perfectly. That's why everybody loves him.
Oh, Andy talks too. I didn't know that. After you guys left, Andy's a ball of fire.
Yeah, once you pull the string from his backside, believe me, he's a caddy.
Oh yeah, Andy will get going. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Those Cobble Mountain Critter drinks in them, and anybody will get going. I don't know. I witnessed that shit. Holy Jesus! I don't know what happened to that house that night, but I didn't want to go home. I had so much fun watching you idiots. That's the best part about being sober. I'm like, really?
Well, you were crushing the monsters, dude. You were crushing.
Yeah, I was tripping on rock stars. I was like, but but to the point before we let Wojo speak, but just like having an event like that, right? I get to see that you're not full of shit, right? Don't I? Don't I get to know you? I get to trust you. You're a stand-up guy. You know what I mean? You laugh. You're human. You're not full of shit. So I take your research more than just at your word now.
Right.
You know, and that's a huge point, Tim. I think Tim was making in a roundabout, political
way.
Yeah, right. So I see that you're not full of shit, and I can have a conversation with you. And other people that are just, fucking loons, you know what I mean? You just, sorry, but I'll listen to everybody. I listen to everybody, but the ones that want me to believe them, it's hard for me to listen to. Right. You know what I mean? Just let me decipher and make up my own mind, like I let you do your thing. You know what I mean? What was that, Wojo? You want to say something?
No, it's
in the meantime.
Stop talking. I'm looking at that fucking fat finger. You bastard.
It was Tim Vogel was going to cut you off anyways. He goes, in the meantime.
All I see is the hand moving. I do this again. I go, son of a bitch. He's going to press me up. He did.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Hands are up. I'm right here, Sasquatch. Don't hurt me.
You're like Clyde and every which way you lose.
So what were you going to say, Woj?
No, it's about relation, how you relate to the people. Okay, like Martin. Okay, like Martin got in touch with Richie, and we do share things like the humming. Okay.
Yeah.
And
right.
once we started learning about that, and we had the video of that, we sent it to Martin, and Richie just came back, called me back. He goes, "Dude, you're not going to believe this." And then he showed me Martin's, what Martin, he tells me what Martin told me, and it's just validation. He's having the same thing going on up there. And I thought that was great.
Yep.
Because again, you're helping him as much as he's helping us, I mean, we're two wild, crazy guys. Hey, but Martin, people like Martin, it's just very
Oh, I love it. So listen to this. So check it out. We've made the big time now, right, Woj? I don't think there's any. Let me see here. Oh yeah, I'm on the right. There we go. I'm gonna share this.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, no, check it out. So talking with John, he's the owner of Charmingfare Farm, and it was nice that they put Wojo and I up as you can see here. Richie B and Wojo are taking over the mic. Join us at Scouting for Bigfoot, where Richie B and the Wojo will be hosting the stage and introducing a compelling lineup of Bigfoot speakers and storytellers throughout the day. Here's who you'll hear from: Mike Tinsley and Matt Arsenal from Chaos Theater Production. Gene Tewksbury, legend. He says already featured on our site. Kelly Porter, New Hampshire Bigfoot Society. Martin Fernbach, local New Hampshire researcher and eyewitness. Eric and Tim Vogel sharing personal encounters and insight. Whether you are a true believer or just curious, this is your chance to hear from passionate voices in the Bigfoot community. Very important the way he said this. Hosted by two of the most entertaining MCs around. Tickets are selling fast. Don't miss this legendary lineup. I just think they put that together so well, and it was, I don't know. I thought it was great, and all you guys deserve that, and he's just spot on. So, again, if you're not from the area and you can't attend, the cameras will be rolling. Yes, we will be busy emceeing. But the beautiful part, there is two of us. And I can drop off, or we'll be together a lot, but I can drop off and go do something, and then Wojo can drop off, vice versa. And then we just put the mic down and jump on our podcast. But there's going to be lots of screens going on. You're going to have plenty of chances to see the chaos that's going on around here. Really?
Oh, boy.
I didn't do that. He took himself completely out. Completely out. Dude he looked right at the phone and went like this, and poof, gone. He hit a button and just killed it. So you're going to have plenty of opportunity. And the beautiful part is, Tim, I've talked to John about the future here. And I told him, Wojo and I and all of us want to be part of this for many years to come. And adding people and to the lineup and stuff like that. And still having you guys come, but maybe next year you don't have to talk because a lot of people heard your stories. So
Sure.
you freshen it up with maybe a new researcher like Martin that we found,
That's perfect.
I love it.
Yeah.
But you're still there. So you're still like a headliner, and you help that new guy get up on stage and tell his
Yep.
story.
Yep.
And we just add to it. And I said, and the other thing I want to do, and now that you're here in front of everybody, I want you guys to work together. I want your festival to work with his festival. I want you to bounce advertising off of your festival for his festival and vice versa. And I think what it does is it just unifies, because that festival you started, I told you, I think the rain saved our ass because it was the buzz was coming. And I was like watching my studio. I was like this, and Wojo's over here. And I'm like, oh, here we go. And you can feel it building up. And it didn't like it die off. It slowed to a steady pace. And
We had just over 200.
Yeah, and I think it was beautiful. But I thought it felt like you were gonna have 2,000. I got to be honest with you, with the sunny. I'm telling
it has
you,
potential.
Oh no!
I'll tell you what, next year we're looking to do it. Next year we're looking to move it down to where the big pavilion or the dining hall and that big white tent is. That's where we're going to do it. I could have had everybody inside that mess hall, but we committed to tents outside, so that's where we were.
Yep.
And so we'll look at it differently. Now we know. Now we can speak from
learning
experience.
Yeah, no, I think it's great. And the beautiful part is you have a beautiful location with known activity, and you have so many options there. So like you said, so many. Oh, we had them up here, but we can. You know what? Next year we can plan for that. What a great spot!
I've already had vendors try to book for next year, offer help in marketing, AI producing posters and flyers, things like that. So as bad as it was, the vendors that showed up are sitting there watching the clouds come in, and they know they're going to get dumped on. And we had 20 tents out, so there was that many people getting rained on.
Yep.
And it was much appreciated for what it was. It was the first event in a void of cryptid kind of fun, and we're trying to change that. If we can do that and bring some more people in next year, if it grows, great. We're happy with that.
No, I think it's awesome. And if you hello, Mr. Tinsley, and welcome back, sir.
Change the venue. That's what happened.
I had to explain to everybody that I didn't do it.
My phone died, so
oh, that's all right. So
I ran upstairs.
Welcome back. So, but that's the key is getting the two festivals to work together. John is an amazing guy. He's so open-minded, and I come at him with some suggestions, and he's like, "Yep, okay, yep." You know what I mean? And then I talked about staying over an extra night with the researchers, kind of like what you were talking about, sitting around the fire on Saturday night, being out by the maple shed, way out back. So we get to go in down the road and around from everybody and not park in the parking lots.
Right.
Like we're going to be out back. And we should have that area for ourselves, like a green room, so to speak, right? So we can go there and take a break away from everything if we need to. You know what I mean? We're there, we're doing our thing, and it gets exhausting at times. So, and a place for us to kind of, set up your truck, and if it doesn't sprinkle, you guys don't run off and claim to be wilderness experts. But anyways, that's a whole different story for another day. I'm sure I'll bring it up again, but because I can't help it, even with meds. So I think about it. You guys want help with it? All right, good. Yeah, we do, Ron. You're in. You're done. Signed. Moving on. Ask about Bigfoot or shut up. Thank you. Love you. Bye.
Thanks, Ron.
So we get to go up by the maple shed, and be away from everybody. We get to stay overnight together, and we get to stay Sunday night as well. So, and then he said you could come up here anytime, so we can go up there anytime we want and camp out by the Maple Shack.
Yep.
And stay. He goes, I don't care if you stay a month. I could care less. I think that's amazing. What an amazing man. I mean, that's his family's property that's been around for 100 years. You know what I mean? And to have that opportunity there, and then that opportunity where you are, if we just draw that bridge together, man, we're sectioning off this shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And to have people that are running it like yourself and like John and Linda and Eric and, really open-minded and willing to listen to ideas, willing to work with people, be flexible. Like when me and Wojo commandeered a cabin, you didn't have any problem with that. You were like, yeah, go ahead. And I'm like, this place is awesome, dude. We're not moving.
My motto is remain rigidly flexible.
Yes, I've heard you say this before. That's a true motto of yours.
It is, man.
So no, I think it's a big deal. So listen, we're all into this together, and I really feel that way. And I'm so glad because it was for so long I was bumping heads with all these other people, and it wasn't that way. I felt like an outsider. I felt nervous. I didn't want to share my story again. You know what I mean? And the whole idea of me coming out of the Bigfoot closet was to share my story. And other people I was afraid to, if I say that to this guy, he's going to think this, and this ain't to you, Mike. This is to someone, not to someone else, but in general, right, Woj? In general, Bado, 100%. You know what I mean? That's not a conversation, man. That's not a conversation. That's you telling me what it is, and that means we cannot go any further into this conversation. It's over. So those types of things is what I was running into, and I didn't want to have the conversation with him, and I was afraid to tell him what I thought it was or what I heard or of ridicule from a fellow researcher, and it was just not working. It's not working. I'm not never ever going to tell you got to believe me, and I'm never going to tell you should believe what I believe. Ask Wojo, like you said, he was a skeptic when he came in, open-minded but skeptical, and I put him in the woods, and he just did his thing, and that's for me that validates what I'm seeing and hearing. So why would I want to destroy that? Because he's part of my evidence. He's part of my evidence. So Why would you want to shit on somebody? I don't care if they see, whatever, Bigfoot porn. I could give a shit less. You know what I mean? Okay, what happened in the Bigfoot porn? Don't make it weird or anything. You know what I mean? Like, listen to him. Freaking listen to him. Stop being a jerk know-it-all and listen. Right. What the hell? And don't judge. Oh, what guy's a fucking crazy person. You know what I mean? No, you got to have that conversation and have that talk. I was talking to somebody and he said to me, this is what it was. And then reiterated like I was supposed to believe it. It was literally trying to hypnotize me. Yes, that's what it was. I was wrong. You were right. You're amazing. I'm a jerk. You know what I mean? Like, who wants to research or live like that in any aspect of your life? We're here to stop that shit. And that's what's happening. And I love it. It's a movement now. It's an absolute movement. And I got to credit everybody on the side, too. People on the side here, Elder and Ron, and pain in the ass, and Gene, legend, you know what I mean? And Denny and Gigi and Sam and, the whole crew, they're making it that way too. So when they go on these other shows, they're acting just like that because that's who they are. So and then it spreads and spreads and spreads, like wildfire. And that's what's happening. And too bad if those ones that can take this stuff and steal it like it's their own. Too bad if you don't like it, dude. Go sit in your Bigfoot closet.
Well, truth hurts. That's the problem.
It is. It's no. There's no place for it in life, and never mind something where we're all passionate about this. And people don't understand.
I picked up 3 different stories, good stories. I'm thinking at the festival, and it was because the guys were comfortable enough to share their story. They didn't share it with anybody. I've got numbers and I've got addresses, and one that sticks out. They're all good. One that sticks out reminds me of the Vermont story that was on the what the heck is it? It must have been on Finding Bigfoot or something. Mm-hmm. It was an apple orchard. It wasn't an apple. It was a Bigfoot picking apples from a tree in the front yard, and it was caught on a door cam or something. Or something like that.
That's wild, man.
This thing hunched over, and it supposedly had a baby Bigfoot attached to it, and it had blotchy spots on it. I think Steve Culls did a debunk or a bunk, and I believe it was a potential, anyways, for a Bigfoot. But it was a Vermont Bigfoot. It was a Vermont apple thing, and that's what stood out because this guy is right up the road from me, and he's got. Last year he had pears and plums, or peaches rather, and at the 8 foot to 15 foot level, everything was picked. He said, and he picks these things and he cans them so he knows what how many pounds he has. And he's thinking almost 100, maybe 150 pounds of fruit was taken over the course of like a week.
Wow.
And it was, nothing in the low hanging. All of it was up in the top. It wasn't on the ground. It was gone. I said, well, what about tracks? He said, it's grass. I really didn't think about tracks. He says, there might have been, but, it wasn't like there was actual footsteps in the ground. It was, our typical hard, ground, and he just didn't notice it. Simple as that. So
they're taking it from the top, Tim, and leaving like.
Yeah, 8 to 15 feet up in these peaches.
And you know why? Think about why, though. Why would you think they would do that? No, yeah, okay. So you go right to the height, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How about they know that? How about they know that everybody else is shorter, and you won't suspect it being gone if it's above what you're seeing in front of you?
Exactly.
Well, that may be true. I don't know if I'll give him that much
credit. Oh, it is true. 100% true. Okay, 100%.
Wow, Tony.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, fuck that guy. Okay.
It's about time.
All right, you're welcome, Mojo. That was for you.
Just out of convenience, this thing. Oh, hey, I didn't stop.
Look at
so anyways, that was his story. And I think that might be a good thing because it's coming into, there'll be apples on the trees and there'll be peaches and pears pretty soon. And so it'll be a relevant story if it comes back.
Yeah.
So we'll have some different investigative techniques from the house. We'll put cameras and stuff like that.
Oh, my God.
It's amazing. When we're heading to Ernie's area, remember?
Oh, dude.
We saw a lot of apple orchards and.
Oh, dude.
That was called West Parish Orchard. That whole mountainside is apple orchards. Yeah. Granville is loaded with apple orchards.
Well, I think this is the other point I want to make to this is that again I'm gonna reference back to Martin. He's part of our team now, and you don't know how many people that you talk to that might actually become part of a team where they reach out to you. They trust you with their story. They trust you with their evidence, their findings, whatever it might be. And all of a sudden they're part of our team. And the fact that people are comfortable, and Gene, was that during the Cobble Mountain Critter Festival? Somebody share that with you? What's up, Country Road? But yeah, I just, he didn't miss a step right. And Damien brings up a point. He says lower apples would ripen quicker with being closest to nutrients. Interesting. So maybe they save it and come back, Who knows? Higher the apple, the less ripe they get. Interesting. Yeah. See that? Mike knows. He's 6'4". I'm 5'4". So you're way less ripe than me, buddy. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing, but hey, let's go with it. But
but still talking apples, right?
Nope. How do you like these apples? No, but I think it's an amazing. Hey, what's up, Bree? Now everybody thinks my show's on, and my show is not on.
Hey, Bree.
Because it's past 6 o'clock. I wasn't supposed to go past 6 o'clock. So yeah, I'm not doing a whole podcast tonight. We just started and giving you an update. So I'm taking a break, but I wanted to make sure I updated everybody on what was going on. Charmingfare Farm, all that stuff. So I think all this stuff is good. It's exactly in the direction we want to take it. Again, I thank everybody on the side for acting like they do. By not ridiculing and by being part of a team. I'm grateful for a guy like Denny O'Donnell, who was comfortable enough to come out with us and share his insights and actually come on my show during the Cobble Mountain Critter Festival. He really wasn't ready for it. I put a little pressure on him, but I think he felt comfortable enough with Wojo and I, and it's just hanging out. That's what it is. It's just hanging out. Great. And being loose and having fun, and absolute epic weekend, Tim. It was one of my favorite highlights. Seriously, in my 53 years, it was one of my favorite highlights. Bigfoot or
rainy as it was fun.
Dude, I'm an adventurer. You're lucky I wasn't frolicking in my underwear. I don't care, man. I love it. Felt so free. I felt so part of something.
That's good.
Yeah, the people were awesome. You know what I mean? Eric's grandsons were absolutely funny as hell. That little dude was funny. Was it Hunter? Dude's a trip.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's a trip. He's asking. I tell him about my girl. He's like, Latina. I go, what the? What did he just say? Kid's a riot. It was an absolute trip, but everything about it was positive. So everybody, thank you. Happy Father's Day.
Adirondack Bigfoot came out. That was
Adirondack. Adirondack. Yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't get with him more. I wish he, kind of. It was rainy, and he kind of had his daughter, and he was like, he had to go do
It's
his
sad
thing.
because we had a lot more vendors for that side of the road, so that side of the road would have had, but some of those guys never showed up. And I mean, they paid to be there, but they didn't show up. So it made it weak on that side where the blacksmith, where John was,
Right.
where Jessica was, things like that. So
Yeah.
next, live and learn. Next time it'll all be on one side. Another recommendation from a vendor that shows.
Was that a no call, no show?
Yeah.
Fired. Don't come back. I'm just kidding. Tim's very nice. I'm not. I would fire you. That's just my opinion. 100%.
Very in depth, Stacy.
Anyways, yes. Wait. I have an important question for Richie. Did you take or wear your lucky underwear?
Uh-oh.
I had the ones that I believe your daughter, Ray, and Animal had specially made for the Banter Richie B show. I think they only advertised their shows on my underwear, pretty much. Yeah, I did have them with me, yes, and I believe I wore them at one point. I don't remember. I took a drink and fell asleep in the cabin, and I woke up and Wojo was smiling. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, why would you leave your underwear on the doorknob outside?
That wasn't me.
Like this.
Yeah. We'll have to ask Gene Tewksbury where Stan was all night.
Thank you, Gene. Gene, you were awesome. Love to have you.
Dude, again, but there it is.
I just don't want to hear these guys talk about pants no more.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gene.
Thank you so much, Elder. Yes, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. We were talking, and someone had posted something. A friend of mine asked me years ago, I guess, on one of my memories that came up on Facebook, and they said, "Why is it Mother's Day and Father's Day weekend?" Do you guys know why? I never looked at it like that. Father's Day is just Father's Day, but a lot of people say Happy Father's Day weekend, and they don't say Happy Mother's Day weekend. Does anybody know why that is? I think that's a crock of shit. We shouldn't be doing that. You know what I mean?
Out in the streets protesting.
Yeah, I mean, after I saw it, I reached over and handed her my glass, and I said, "Father's Day weekend." And she said, "Get it yourself."
And Russell.
Yeah, this is the last thing you want to say to a Portuguese girl. Go get me a drink, It's Father's Day weekend. Yeah, maybe
I'm going to go squatching tonight. I'm going to be out where you guys were.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Where, like down at the circle?
Yep. I'm going to be out in the woods, more near the rifle range.
Yeah, but
further down the road.
But all right, but are you basing your investigation off of that?
Yeah,
dude.
Off of what you guys had. Oh yeah, no, it's follow-up. You guys had.
Oh, look at Gene. Look at Gene. It's none of your business where Stan was. Hell yeah, girl. I friggin' love this family.
Yeah.
Gives me goosebumps. I needed it.
Yeah, no, if you guys had that action, I want to go back and circle back and see if we can follow up.
Yeah,
see what's going on.
So the bulldozer's here.
Yeah.
You go to the back track of that bulldozer. It started off to the right, and it left diagonally to the left.
Yeah.
When there's an opening where the big trees are down, we would have had to climb over. Dude, we would have had to climb over those trees, and then it was dark forest. There was no more like ferns or nothing. I stopped there and looked at Denny and said, "Yeah, we're not going over there."
And it's black, isn't it?
Oh, dude, it was like a hole. It was like a black hole in the forest. Like, come here, dude. I got something for you. And I'm smarter than that. And I looked at Denny and said, "Oh no, we're not going that way."
Yeah, that's when you need the 50,000 watt light.
Oh my God! Yeah, that thing. He has 50,000 lumen light that has its own fan because it has to keep itself cool. It'll start fires and burn you.
It's a search and rescue light. It's a powerful light.
It's unbelievable, dude.
You
Yeah.
don't want to. Yeah.
But even that's a great
It's actually
point.
a survival light. You pointed at somebody's in their face, you can't function.
Oh, they're blind, and their
Oh,
brain starts going. I guarantee you. How about, hey Tim, real quick? I gotta get going. So, but I do you remember we were in the cemetery, and
Yeah.
I haven't chimed in on my the sensitiveness that I've always had my whole life, and I've done readings and been to mediumship class, and it's kind of a little known thing. I've talked about it more. I've gotten more comfortable talking about it, but I haven't done anything in a very long time. And the cool thing was we were talking to Annie, and I listened to the recording with Jess the other night, and she was like blown away at how far I opened up. Let's put it that way.
Right.
And I remember standing there, we're talking to Annie, and then all of a sudden I go, you can hear me on the recording going, oh, somebody's standing over here. And I turned around diagonally to my left in the cemetery. Now, all these stones are laid flat on the ground, and they're very, very old, and they have the old English type sayings and stuff. And I turned around like this, and I'm standing there, and we talked for a few more minutes, and I went, oh, okay. All right, so I know you're a male.
Yeah.
Right?
D, David.
Yeah, so I start going D. I got the letter D, I said. I kept saying it.
Yeah.
And not even a foot away from me, I look down. I start doing the flashlight because now I got to find what the D means, right? So I look down and it says Emily. And I'm like, oh, okay. So then I notice it says it keeps going because it's that old way of speaking. And it says Emily, wife of David.
There you go.
And I went, Tim,
Yeah,
D,
yeah.
David. It was absolutely, it was mind-blowing.
Josh Animal, he was in there with Eric. Eric brought him up separately hours before we went up there. And Josh saw the little girl. He'd never been there before. And all of a sudden, he said, hey, there's a little girl wearing a white dress. So he believes he saw Annie. And then then she followed Eric out of the cemetery. And Josh wheels back like that to see it again. Yeah. And he said he saw it again. And Eric said, what'd you see? He says, a little girl. She's right behind you. And Eric's like, whoa!
Eric's amazing because
Eric had nothing to do with it,
Eric,
So
hey, Wojo, real quick before we go, what did Eric do when you were walking and he was walking behind you?
no kidding. Yeah.
I was in front of Wojo.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, Wojo, he's talking to you, dude. Wojo, why aren't you answering him?
Well, yeah, you guys were in front of me, and Eric's like right behind me, and I could hear Eric talking to himself. And so I'm just putting the light on and off, and like just watching not to trip over rocks. And then I just said, "Eric, you talking to me?" And he's still talking. And Eric, you calling me? Jesus Christ! Started running. He thought someone like was talking to him and tapped him on the shoulder or something.
He was having a conversation.
Oh, it was a complete conversation.
It was a conversation.
I looked behind
him.
Right.
I'm
a witness to this. I looked behind me and saw Wojo, but behind him, Eric was turned around. He was turning around like he was like talking to Wojo, and I watched him realize Wojo was not behind him. He spins back around and starts running, goes, what the hell? And he starts running past Wojo. Wojo's like, what is going on, dude?
Oh, dude, I was tripping balls. I'm tired. I just drove in,
right?
And there's Eric freaking out. It's talking. Someone's behind me talking to me. He starts running, and I'm like, dude, it's me.
Dude had a paranormal experience right there.
Yep.
With the whole group, and he's talking to. He thought he was talking to you. I
100%.
spoke to him later on. I'm like, dude, in fact, we went for a squatch ride. We went back to the cemetery. I said, let's go in the cemetery. He's like, fuck you.
Yeah. You know what? I probably I think I got to have that on my recorder. I have that incident.
EVP.
Yeah, I know. We watched the squiggle lines come up. Oh yeah, it was crazy. But I have Eric talking to the ghost behind him. I bet because I was right there. I'm telling you, he was squabbling. I'm like, what's he squabbling about? Like, I could see Wojo in my peripheral right here, and I'm like, who's he talking to? Is he talking to Wojo? And then I turned around and say, Wojo's up here, dude. Or I said, Wojo, why aren't you listening to him? That's basically, I bet you that's on recording too.
Well, he thought I was talking to him the whole time, but
but he turned around to look for you.
Yeah.
And I remember him turning like this and then coming back around, and his face was white, and he was like this, and he started running. He has a funny little run, don't he?
Oh my god, dude!
Dude, his knees come up like a cartoon. He's like,
Yeah,
He was assholes and elbows. That's what he was.
oh, hi.
Moving.
Is Tinsley still here?
I'm like with the thermal. He's literally like hugging me right beside. What do you guys made a comment about him being that close?
He, he thought he was talking to you. And when you said, "Are you talking to me?" he then realized he heard where you were. He looked back, like Richie said, and that's when he had that moment. Oh, crap.
Oh, he freaked out, dude.
Yeah. And he doesn't like none of that stuff. He says that stuff, he doesn't like that ghost stuff. It'll stick to him or something. He can't wash it off or something.
Oh, yeah, man. Well, little Annie likes him.
Hey, you know what? The library speaks and the talks that we do and stuff. Once in a while, he'll talk about little Annie. I don't know nothing about her. He knows a lot more about her. And I don't know anything. And but he'll do a little talk about it. And it's ironic that he's the one that had the experience.
I think it's beautiful. I think now Mike didn't get up there.
Mike, that night.
Mike, it's spooky up there. I mean, the thunder, the lightning.
Yeah. It's random in the middle of nowhere. It's the biggest, largest, 17,000 acres in contiguous acreage of nothing. And it's our biggest landmass or open space in Mass. That one space. Yeah. And this cemetery is thrown right in the middle of it. Just a random cemetery.
Yeah, Aaron would tell me about some really cool stuff that he saw up there with you guys, and he told me about the girl in the white dress, and
Josh saw. And that was random. Eric was, Mr. Brave guy. First time, nothing ever happened, right? Oh, here's the cemetery. He walks in there, and all of a sudden, Josh says, "Oh, there's the one." He's like, "Ah!" I believe
it was probably Richie in a white tutu running around.
Oh God! And Josh walked right up to the grave. He'd never been there. He walked right up to the grave. He said she came right from here and went that way. And then Richie, you saw all the toys on it. Remember the little blue soldier?
Oh yeah.
You know, that thing, he walked right up to it. So it was just very organic how it happened. Yeah. So, I mean,
it's crazy that some people are in tune to some of this stuff more than others. Like,
like he said, is sensitive. I don't even know what the hell they mean by that, but okay. Yeah. But I get it. They pick it up.
Yeah. I picked up some weird vibes, paranormal. We talked about it over the weekend with like Matt and some other people. UFO, I've seen the UFO, but I haven't seen a Bigfoot. But I'm more into the Bigfoot thing than I am the paranormal and the UFO for some reason, even though I've had those encounters. I can't explain it why it's the Bigfoot thing is more of a drive or a calling for me than that other stuff where I've had those experiences. Maybe it's because it's still so unknown. Maybe it's because, I know that psychic paranormal activity exists, whether I choose to be in tune to it at a certain, point in time, or, there's definitely UAPs and UFOs around. But yeah, it's cool. Hopefully some point you'll take me out there. I'd love to check it out.
That place is nuts, man. All right. So I was trying to get this video one more time, but I think it's in the wrong format, and that's why. And I'm a boomer, and Ron's not here to save me. I'm going to get it ready for next time. I don't see where it says I can change. It says make a copy. No, it just makes it MOV. Okay.
What is it? Is it an MOV file?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it won't let me play it on in Google Drive or video. You got to change it over to whatever. I forget what Bobby Lee said. But my Scaniverse is the same way. I always have to change the format over. But I'll share it with the world. It'll be on my Facebook, and I'll tag Tinsley in it. And he did a good job. And I don't usually get had too often.
Tim, this guy right here set me up.
I heard.
You should go wake Richie up. He's sleeping.
Oh, so Tim knew I was sleeping and told you to come up. And you say, "Hey, where's Richie Beatty?" Like, "Oh, I heard he was sleeping up on that couch." Wink, wink.
You did. You got up just like Kramer, dude.
I did. I was like, my hand was out. Like,
you probably ought to show Richie B that video before you send it out into the general public.
No, I saw it. I think it's funny as hell. I'm trying to share it with everybody. You know what I mean?
That's what I thought you were doing, but that's.
Well, we heard that thunder. It was so loud. We thought for sure that you guys were already awake.
No.
Because
right? I mean, you would
I thought someone struck the house.
Yeah, it did. Shook the house. Richie's over there.
Dude, it was so amazing. I got the couch outside of the porch. The cool air was coming
Oh,
through.
it was nice Friday.
Oh, I got under my comforter. I had my favorite pillow.
I'm glad you had a good time.
Butt naked. I'm just laying there.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
I had a vision, and then I lost it.
Yeah, but I'm under the covers. It's legal. You know what I mean?
No kids there.
You know what I mean?
That was broke
What you
my
do
car.
under the covers is your business.
Whatever, guy. It was about to be your business. Tinsley scared me. I didn't run through like, ah! No, I was just kidding. I just had my underwear on. I'm good.
Oh boy.
I had to do with something.
I gotta get out of here. I gotta get my baby boy to sleep. And I was supposed to have a podcast tonight, but apparently I just did. So you guys are awesome. Thank you for popping in last minute, unexpected banter bullshit with me and Wojo once in a while. You know what I mean? We try to keep him at bay. He gets a little rambunctious. You know what I mean? Right, Wojo? Yeah, just a little. I think he's still talking about rambunctious. Don't judge him. But I will get that video up. You will see it. I'll do it in a little while. So watch for that post on Banter Richie B in my personal Facebook if you're privileged enough to be on that. Maybe my TikTok too. I might even do it. Maybe I'll just put it all across all platforms and show the world what I am. I'm a mess. I'm not scared. If I'm going to do it to you, I should do it to myself. What's fair is fair, right? So listen up, everybody. Charmingfare Farm next weekend.
My backyard, baby.
Yep, we are the MCs. We're right in Mike Tinsley's backyard. We got Henry coming down to hang out with us. I heard Andy's going to make it for Saturday. Martin's going to have his first time speaking. And Wojo, by the way, you had your first time speaking at the Call Mountain Critter Festival. Yeah. And what an absolute great job you did. You were comfortable, you were talking, and you were just a natural. And you're at your buddy's place who created this festival, and you'll always have that as your first. And that's a pretty cool first, dude.
Good stuff.
Yeah, mine was at the Hanson Historical Society with a meathead, but you know what I mean? You get all this grandeur. What's that?
I didn't know D-Hoot was here.
Where's D-Hoot?
She said, thank you all. Peace out. I'm like, what?
D-Hoot, what? You don't even talking? That's it? You just say peace out, no love, no happy Father's Day, nothing?
What?
This is ridiculous. One more time, happy Father's Day to everybody. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and of course, YouTube. Hit that notify button. Are we going live at all tomorrow, by the way, Wojo? In the woods? We haven't been to the woods. I'm going to have a little cookout with my kids, 1 o'clock. Why don't we just go live after that? Why don't you come over and have some hot dogs?
We'll see.
All right. Corner of the cob the long way. All right?
Oh,
sound good? So, hey, everybody, happy Father's Day to you all. Hope you enjoy yourself. Do whatever the hell you want. It's not Father's Day weekend. Stop being assholes. It's Father's Day. It's Mother's Day weekend. She does more than you, believe it or not. You just don't know it. You know what I mean? It's just your ego telling you lies, losers. Thank you to Mike Tinsley. Mike Tinsley, where can everybody find you?
Find me on Facebook, New Hampshire Bigfoot Society, Instagram. Yeah, Chaos Theater Productions, everything, everywhere. Just look for me. Just look.
Yeah, just look for him. Yeah, that's all. Just like we look for Bigfoot, you look for Mike.
Well, I want to tell Wojo, that's why I usually have my hair gelled up, so you can tell me between Bigfoot out in the woods.
That's what he did. He told us that when he got to the festival. Yeah. Remember that? He had it all spiked up, and he goes, that way you could tell the difference.
I know, he did.
I know, because they smell exactly alike.
Number 9.
Vogel, where can we find you, buddy?
The Vogel Brothers on the Facebook page or Cobble Mountain Critter Project Facebook page.
Absolutely, man. Listen, the quest for Cobble Mountain Critter Festival 2026 starts now. So watch for that. As soon as we can start popping off dates and everything else, we're going to do that. And you guys are going to help us spread the love. You know what I mean? So thank you to Tim Vogel, Eric Vogel, wherever you are, mystery man. And I love you, baby Jack. I love you, mama. Wojo, get us the hell out of here, please.
Hey, happy Father's Day. And thank you for being on the show.